Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. 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 When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. Pray. Pray.
Namaste, everyone. Hello. Welcome to Dr. Pillai's Religion of Religions. This is Donna from Pillai Center. My spiritual name is Rani, and we welcome you with love. Dr. Pillai has said, the foundation of all religions is love. And it is his desire through Religion of Religions to unite the many different sects of all religions by meeting in the spiritual realm, by meeting in the heart. We believe in the supreme divine power taking form in all gods and goddesses from every other religion, and we celebrate their existence on planet Earth. The intention is also to give an authentic experience of God, the experience of divine love, where there is no separation from each other. So today, we welcome you to our Align with the Planets to Change Your Destiny program. So, align with the planets. Why would we want to do that? Well, because we're all connected. Not just people and the living beings on this planet, but all other beings in the celestial realms. That's why we connect with different archetypes, because they are alive, only they're in different celestial realms. And the planets are alive too. The stars are alive. So what does that mean for us humans? Well, here's a fun fact. Throughout history, when stars run out of fuel to keep burning, the stars have gone supernova. Now, the dust from those stars then either form new stars, or much of that dust has fallen to the earth. Scientific researchers all agree that stars that go supernova have been responsible for creating many of the elements of our periodic table, including those elements that make up the human body. According to planetary scientist and stardust expert Dr. Ashley King, she says nearly all the elements in the human body were made in a star. So, as we gaze at the stars, we are possibly looking at our ancestors. How cool is that? The point is, as I have mentioned so many times in this program before, there is no place where God is not. We are all made of that same divine energy. And by connecting with and honoring these celestial beings, the stars, the planets, and the deities that rule the stars, they will bless us, and in doing so, change our destiny. So Today, my special guest, my very special guest, is my buddy, Pillai Center teacher and Astroved Vedic astrologer, Swamini Valli, and she'll be guiding us in a puja, which is a sacred ritual of worship for those unfamiliar with that term. But first, we will begin as we always do by invoking the Holy Spirit. Master Pillai teacher Mohini will lead us in this invocation. You can chant along with her. The words will be on the screen. Let's begin.
Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, thou art welcome. 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 Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, thou art here. Holy Spirit, thou art welcome. Holy Spirit, thou art welcome. Holy Spirit, thou art welcome. Holy Spirit, we want to merge with you today. Fill us up, overflow your blessings within us, your presence, wash over us. We want to feel your ocean of love. Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, thou art welcome. Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, thou art welcome. Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, thou art here.
Holy Spirit, thou art welcome. Now, I'd like to invite our special guest today, Palai Center teacher and Vedic astrologer Swamini Valli. She will guide us through the puja. Please wait to post any questions until the ritual is done. You'll have time to get your questions answered at that time. So welcome to our call, Swamini Valli.
Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you so much. And welcome to everyone who is here. What I'll be sharing today is at a certain point, Ronnie's going to put up a little picture that's the chart of where the planets are right now in the sky based on my location, which is here in Florida in the USA. And this chart is being shown in the style of the South Indian style layout. There's also a North Indian style layout where the Vedic information can be shown, but they have the same information. They just have a different layout for how they present it. I'm using the South Indian style layout form because Dr. Palai comes from the south of India, and that's the form that I learned from him. So in this form, these 12 little boxes, each box is representing a different zodiac sign. And the planets their little abbreviations are filled in the different boxes because those planets right now are sitting in those different zodiac signs in the view of the sky from here, in a Vedic or sidereal view into the sky. Now, I have added into our chart 3 planets that haven't always been mentioned in the Vedic astrology, which is Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, the 3 outer planets that we have known about in the more modern world with telescopes and everything. Dr. Palai this past year had statues commissioned for Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto for his temple in India. And he had special ceremony for energizing those statues. And after he did that, I wrote to Vijaya Lakshmi, one of the Astrovet astrologers in India, and said, what mantras did they use during the fire ceremonies for those 3 different planets? And she gave me those sounds. So we'll use those sounds for those planets. Those planets are often included when people are doing Western astrology, but it may be new for some people who are not used to seeing them in the Vedic view. But I'm trying to follow Dr. Palai's lead since he's initiated those planets into his temple in India. And we'll talk a little bit about them at a certain point here. So we start with the chart in the South Indian style, and Dr. Palai's instructions to me and to Raja, Mina's brother, was that we should draw the chart in our own hand in chalk on a chalkboard. So I have drawn this chart in a little chalkboard that I have here with me. You're welcome to just follow along with the prayers today. You don't have to draw it at all. Or if you want to, you could draw it on a piece of paper with a pen or pencil. I will be offering a little bit of water. I'm going to be offering flower petals. I'll be offering a fan, a little hand fan, because I can't use incense in my home because I have a roommate who's sensitive to scent. So I use a little fan to represent that element, and a bell at the end for the element of sound. So those are the little tools for this little puja that we're about to do. Now, this is a puja that's using the chart of the moment of right now. So these are where the planets are right now in my local area. Dr. Palai instructed that we should start the puja first with invoking Ganesha, an archetype who removes obstacles. So we'll start right now. First, I'm going to take a little bit of water and put the water.
Valli, I'm sorry, before we start, can we go around the chart and you can tell us what the abbreviations are, and I can point to them as we go. So.
Okay, sure. Okay. So let's start. I'm going to start with the Ascendant, where it says AC in the bottom right corner, because that's the zodiac sign that's on the eastern horizon at the moment in my local area. So the Ascendant right now is in the sign of Virgo. Then we're going to go clockwise from there when we do the puja. We'll start with the Ascendant. K2 is the planet that's sitting in the sign of Libra. There's no planet sitting in Scorpio, the next box over, and there's no planet sitting in Sagittarius, the next box over. Pluto is sitting in Capricorn. He's retrograde right now. We'll invoke him. Saturn is in the next box in a clockwise direction in Aquarius. He's retrograde right now too. Then the next box up in the upper left corner has Neptune, which is retrograde right now as well, and Jupiter. Now, a really interesting thing about today is Saturn sitting, that one box below, sitting in Aquarius. He's sitting in a sign that he rules. Jupiter sitting in the box on top of him. He's sitting in Pisces, which is a sign he rules. Okay, the next box over, we have Mars, and he's sitting in Aries, a sign he rules. We also have Uranus and Rahu sitting there. The next box over is Taurus, and we have Venus sitting there, and Venus rules this sign. And then the next box over is Gemini, which has Mercury, who rules Gemini, and we have the Sun. So today we have a very interesting lineup, which we'll have for a few days. It's very rare. We have Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, and Mercury, all sitting in a sign that they rule, all lined up in a line in the sky, which some people could see if you went out in your night sky or had a telescope. It's a very interesting and rare occurrence. So kind of cool that we're doing our puja today with this cool configuration. So as I said, the sun is sitting in Gemini in that box that's in the upper right-hand corner. The next sign down is Cancer, and it has the moon, and he actually is sitting in a sign he rules too. So we've got him sitting in a sign he rules. And then the next box down is Leo, but there's no planet sitting there. So we don't have to include that sign per se in the puja. So, okay, what else do you want me to say first before we get started? Thank you for helping with that.
I think that's great. Now we know what all these abbreviations are, and I think we can continue on. Thank you.
Okay, so now I'm going to take a little container of water, dip my hand in it, and sprinkle just a few drops of water on the four sides of my blackboard, to purify the space for the puja. And I'll also put a few drops of water on the top of my head. So we can visualize that the water is helping to purify all of us, helping to create a sacred space for all of us in doing this puja. So now the start of this puja, Dr. Pillai had instructed that we would invoke Ganesha 3 times using the mantra Om Sring Gung. Let me see if I can post that into the chat in the YouTube. I think I have one window open with the YouTube. Just a second here with the sound off so I don't double have sound. Om Sring Gung is a sound for Ganesha. So we'll invoke that 3 times. Om Sring Gung. Om Sring Gung. Om Sring Gung. We ask Ganesha to come and to remove all obstacles from this puja. And we thank him for his help with this. The next set of sounds that we're going to do are sounds from a chant by Saint Gnanasamudra, who created a chant to control the planets and make them beneficial. These are Tamil words, and I know that I have an American accent, so if you're a Tamil-speaking person, please be gentle with me with my pronunciation. I'm going to post this into the YouTube chat as well. And we invoke these sounds 3 times. Asura Nalla Nalla, Aveya Nalla Nalla, Atyar Arvuke Mikave. Asura Nalla Nalla, Aveya Nalla Nalla, Atyar Arvuke Mikave. Asura Nalla Nalla, Aveya Nalla Nalla, Atyar Arvuku Mikave. We ask for all of these planets to be beneficial towards us, and we thank them for their help with this. Now, the next step that Dr. Pillai said we would do is we would invoke the planet that rules the day before we start working with the chart. In my location today is Saturday, so I'm going to be invoking Saturn, who rules Saturday. And as I do 3 chants for Saturn, I'm going to put flower petals each time I chant for him on top of him on my little blackboard. So I'm putting flower petals on top of Saturn, who's sitting in Aquarius. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Next, Dr. Pillai said we should invoke the star that the moon is in at the moment, or the nakshatra, that's an active time element right now. Right now, the moon is in the star of Aslesha. So I'm going to put 3 flower petals as I chant for that star on top of the moon, who's sitting in Cancer, because he's the one that's sitting in Aslesha. Om Asleshaya Namaha. Om Asleshaya Namaha. Om Asleshaya Namaha. Next, we're going to invoke the Tithi, or the moon phase. The phase of the moon right now in my area is the 4th waxing moon, which is called Chaturthi in Sanskrit. Dr. Pillai said we should use the Sanskrit name of the moon phase and then add the word Devi after it, meaning invoking the archetype of that moon phase. Om Chaturthi Devye Namaha. And again, I'm putting the little petals on top of the moon because he's the one that has the moon phase. Om Chaturthi Devye Namaha. Om Chaturthi Devye Namaha. Next, we invoke the planet that rules the hour, or rules the hora right now. In my local area, we're in a hora that's ruled by Mercury. It's about to go into the moon, I think, in the next minute. So I'm going to invoke the hora as moon, because that's what it's going to be for most of our puja. So we, again, are going to put flower petals on top of the moon, 3 of them, as we invoke him for ruling the hora that we're going into. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Now we turn our attention to the actual chart of the moment, chart of now. Dr. Pillai said we should start with invoking the planet that rules the Ascendant. The Ascendant is sitting down there in Virgo with those initials AC. And that is that's the zodiac sign coming up on the eastern horizon right now. And so the planet that rules the sign that's the Ascendant right now is Mercury. So I'm going to invoke Mercury 3 times and put flower petals on top of him each time I say his chant, a flower petal. And he's sitting up there in Gemini. So the flower petals will go into the Gemini box. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Now we're going to go in a clockwise direction from the Ascendant until we find a sign that has a planet in it. So we go in a clockwise direction from Virgo, and in that direction, the first box that has a planet in it is Libra, which has Ketu. So now we're going to invoke Ketu, the planet Ketu. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. And as I invoked him, I put flower petals on top of him. Now I'm going to invoke the star that Ketu is in. He's in the star of Vishaka. So I'm going to invoke Vishaka 3 times, and I'm going to put the flower petals on top of Ketu because he's the one that's in that star. Vishaka is a star of success. It's a star that has a lot of victory consciousness. So we're invoking Vishaka star. Om Vishaka Shakaye Namaha. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Next, we invoke the deity or the archetype who rules Vishaka. Vishaka is actually ruled by a pair of archetypes, Indra and Agni. Indra definitely is an archetype with a lot of power, and Agni is the element of fire, and he helps with purification. So we're invoking them. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. And again, the flower petals are going on top of Ketu. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Then Dr. Ply said we should pause for a moment and reflect. So we're going to pause for a moment and reflect on Ketu, who is sometimes called the saintly planet, a planet who helps us to have longing for liberation. And he's sitting right now in the sign of Libra, a sign of harmony and balance. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign that has a planet in it is all the way over in Capricorn, who has Pluto, and today Pluto is retrograde. We're going to invoke Pluto with the mantra that was used in the fire lab for energizing the statue of Pluto in Dr. Pillai's temple. Om Krum Krutankaya Namaha. Om Krum Krutankaya Namaha. Om Krum Krutankaya Namaha. Dr. Pillai says that Pluto, while he is sometimes a planet of destruction, he's also a planet that helps with rationality and science. So we ask his blessings for those things. Now, Pluto today is sitting in a star of Uttarashada, which is the star of long-lasting success. We invoke Uttarashada and put the flower petals on top of Pluto. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Uttarashada star is ruled by the 10 Visvadevas. These are archetypes who are all sons of Brahma, some of his mind sons that were created out of his mind. We invoke them. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Now we invoke the planet that rules Capricorn, which is Saturn. We invoke Saturn and put flower petals on top of him. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Makara or Capricorn, today containing Pluto, a planet of rationality and science, sitting in Capricorn, a sign of ancient past life skills and abilities. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. I apologize, when we did Ketu, I forgot to invoke the planet that rules Libra, which is Venus. So I'm going to actually take a moment and invoke Venus so that I correct the mistake that I made in the puja. We're invoking Venus because he rules Libra. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. We honor Venus because he rules Libra, and we thank him for his help. Now we go on to the next Rasi or sign that has a planet in it, which is Kumbha or Aquarius, which today contains Saturn, and Saturn is retrograde right now. When a planet is retrograde, Dr. Ply says they are more powerful. So we're invoking Saturn. He's very comfortable because he sits in a sign that he rules. We invoke Saturn. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Saturn is sitting in a star called Dhanishta. This is a star that's associated both with music and wealth, with having good reputation. We invoke Dhanishta. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Dhanishta is ruled by the 8 Vasus. These are archetypes who have tremendous energy and light. We invoke them. Om Vasusye Namaha. Om Vasusye Namaha. Om Vasusye Namaha. Now we invoke Saturn again because he is the planet that rules Kumbha or Aquarius. We invoke him. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Kumbha or Aquarius, the most humanitarian of all the signs, today containing Saturn, planet of patience, discipline, and a planet that helps us to be willing to be of service and to be compassionate toward others. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi sign with a planet in it is Mina or Pisces, which today contains Neptune and Jupiter. Neptune today is also retrograde. We start with invoking Neptune. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Dr. Pillai says Neptune can help us with intuition and with the ability to understand our inner self. We ask his blessings. Neptune today is sitting in the star of Purva Bhadrapada. We invoke this star. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Now we invoke the archetype who rules Purva Bhadrapada, which is the one-footed archetype Aja Ekapada. He helps with things such as helping us to have stillness, silence, and forgiveness. We invoke him. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Oh my goodness, I'm actually forgetting. I'm so nervous doing this puja. I have forgotten that we're also supposed to invoke the planet that rules the star. So we're going to invoke Jupiter because he rules Purva Bhadrapada. We invoke Jupiter. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. I'm going back right now and catching up on doing the planets that rule the different stars that we just did because I left them out. And I apologize for this. This is new for me doing this in a broadcast form like this. I'm going back to Vishaka star. That's what Ketu is sitting in. He's also ruled by Jupiter. We'll invoke Jupiter 3 times for Vishaka. And when I do this, I am putting the flower petals on top of Jupiter. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Pluto was sitting in the star of Uttarashada, which is ruled by the sun. I'm going to invoke the sun 3 times for that star, and I will put the flower petals on top of the sun. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. The Dhanishta star that Saturn is in is ruled by Mars. We invoke Mars and put the flower petals on him. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Now we return to Pisces, and now we invoke Jupiter because he is sitting in Pisces. We invoke him for that reason. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Jupiter is sitting in the star of Uttara Bhadrapada, which Dr. Pillai has said is good for business development. We invoke this star. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Next, we invoke the archetype that rules that star, which is Arbundia, who is an archetype of the deep type of oceans, and he has great energies of Kundalini. We invoke him. Om Arbundiaye Namaha. Om Arbundiaye Namaha. Om Arbundiaye Namaha. Uttara Bhadrapada is ruled by Saturn. We invoke Saturn and put the flower petals on top of Saturn. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Now we invoke Jupiter again because he is the planet that actually rules Pisces. We invoke him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Meena, or Pisces, today containing Neptune, the planet of intuition, and also containing Jupiter, planet of spiritual teachings, and also a planet of wealth. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with the planet in it is Aries. Today, Aries has Mars, Uranus, and Rahu. We start with invoking Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Mars is in the star of Ashwini, a star associated with speed and also healing. Om Ashwiniye Namaha. Om Ashwiniye Namaha. Om Ashwiniye Namaha. Ashwini is ruled by the Ashwini Kumaras. These are two horse-headed twins who have energies of healing, and they're sometimes called even the archetypes who are the physicians to the gods. They have so much healing energy. We invoke their blessings. Om Ashwini Kumarayes Namaha. Om Ashwini Kumarasye Namaha. Om Ashwini Kumarasye Namaha. Ashwini star is ruled by Ketu. We invoke Ketu and put the little flower petals on top of him. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Next, we invoke Uranus. Dr. Playa said Uranus is a kind of a sky god, and he's associated with the highest intelligence and innovation, and that propitiating him can help bring about success in life. We invoke him. Om Ram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Ram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Ram Prajapataye Namaha. Today, Uranus and Rahu are both sitting in the same star. So we're going to invoke Rahu first before we invoke the star. So right now we invoke Rahu. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Uranus and Rahu are both sitting in the star of Bharani, a star that's symbolized by the yoni, or the female private parts. It's a star that has a tremendous amount of Shakti, or divine feminine energy, for creativity. Om Barniye Namaha. Om Barniye Namaha. Om Barniye Namaha. Barney is ruled by Yama, an archetype associated with death, but also associated with justice and upholding the Dharma. Om Yamaye Namaha. Om Yamaye Namaha. Om Yamaye Namaha. Barney is ruled by Venus. We invoke Venus and put the flower petals on top of Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Now we invoke the planet that rules Aries, which happens to be Mars. Again, we invoke Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Misha, or Aries, today containing Mars, a planet that's both a warrior and a healer. Uranus, a planet associated with astrology and also the highest intelligence. And Rahu, a planet that's associated with innovative thinking and new technologies. We invoke their blessings. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi, or sign with a planet in it, is Vrishabha, or Taurus, which today contains Venus. We invoke Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Today, Venus is sitting in Rohini, a star of beauty and creativity. We invoke Rohini. Om Rohini Namaha. Om Rohini Namaha. Om Rohini Namaha. Rohini is ruled by Brahma, an archetype of creativity, a creator archetype. Om Brahmaye Namaha. Om Brahmaye Namaha. Om Brahmaye Namaha. Rohini is ruled by the moon. We invoke the moon and put the flower petals on top of the moon. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Now we invoke the planet that rules Vrishabha, or Taurus, which happens to be Venus. Again, we invoke Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Vrishabha, or Taurus, a grounded and luxury-loving sign, to take containing Venus, the planet of material plane comforts. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi, or sign with a planet in it, is Mithuna, or Gemini, which today contains Mercury and the Sun. We invoke Mercury. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Mercury is sitting in a star of Mrgashira, a star associated with curiosity and interest in learning new things. We invoke Mrgashira. Om Mrgashiraye Namaha. Om Mrgashiraye Namaha. Om Mrgashiraye Namaha. Mrgashira is ruled by Soma, a form of the moon that is kind of the nectar of immortality. We invoke Soma. Om Somaye Namaha. Om Somaye Namaha. Om Somaye Namaha. Mrgashira is ruled by Mars. We invoke the blessings of Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. We now invoke the planet that rules the sign of Gemini, which happens to be Mercury. Again, we invoke Mercury. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Matuna or Gemini, a sign with a great range of energies, today containing Mercury, the planet of communication, and also the merchant planet, the planet that's in charge of all forms of buying and selling, a planet that can help us with commercial success. And the sun. We forgot to invoke the sun first. I'm so sorry. We skipped over the sun. We now invoke the sun. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. The sun is sitting in a star called Ardra, which is symbolized as a teardrop of compassion. We invoke Ardra. Om Ardraye Namaha. Om Ardraye Namaha. Om Ardraye Namaha. Ardra is ruled by a Rudra, a form of Shiva that destroys negativity. Om Rudraye Namaha. Om Rudraye Namaha. Om Rudraye Namaha. Ardra is ruled by Rahu. We invoke Rahu and put the flower petals on him. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Now we pause for a moment and reflect on Matuna or Gemini, containing Mercury, the planet of communication and also business and all forms of buying and selling, and the sun, which is our soul and so important for our health. Dr. Playa said, without the sun, we literally have no life on this planet. So we pause for a moment and reflect on them being in Gemini, a sign that has a great range of interests. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with a planet in it is Karkata or Cancer, which today contains the moon. We invoke the blessings of the moon. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Today, the moon is in Aslesha star, a star of mystical power. We invoke Aslesha. Om Asleshaye Namaha. Om Asleshaye Namaha. Om Asleshaye Namaha. Aslesha is ruled by the Nagas, ancient snake beings who have tremendous knowledge about cycles of time and who can help us with becoming more knowledgeable about the time elements. We invoke their blessings. Om Nagasye Namaha. Om Nagasye Namaha. Om Nagasye Namaha. Now we invoke the planet that rules Karkata or Cancer, which happens to be the moon. Again, we invoke the moon. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Karkata or Cancer, the most emotionally sensitive of all the signs, today containing the moon. which is our mind and our emotions. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. Now I'm taking a little tea light and I'm going to show that around the chart 3 times to all of the divine beings that we have just invoked. I'm moving it in a clockwise direction 3 times just above all these flower petals that I've offered. And then I'm going to take my fan and fan 3 times around the chart because I can't burn incense here. If I had incense, I would just show an incense stick, but I'm just doing a little fan around the chart 3 times to bring that element of air into the puja. And now I ring a bell 3 times to invoke the element of sound. And I bring that around the chart 3 times. Now we make a sincere prayer to all of these divine beings that we have just invoked, asking for their blessings. We ask them to bless us, our families, our friends, our communities, our countries, our planet. We ask them to bless everyone. And we make a prayer for them to bless everyone on our planet so that everyone can have healthy food to eat, clean water to drink, a safe place to live, clean air to breathe, a good clothes to wear, and access to health care, good education, and sustainable jobs. And we ask that everyone on the planet have love in their life, now and always. Om Drum Dattatreya Shiva Baba. Back over to you, Ronnie.
Thank you so much, Swamini Valli. That was lovely. Let's maybe continue in a prayerful mind right now for the next couple of minutes. Let's just sit and continue our prayer that we just started for the world and for each other. Slowly and gently, you can come back to yourself. We are very grateful to all of the divine beings that we have honored today, that will continue to bless us throughout the day and going forward. And with great gratitude to Swamini Valli for guiding us through this beautiful ritual. So when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So reading in the chat, Ra is saying, I'd love to have you do this every day. Oh, Ra. Funny you should mention that. Yes, starting Monday, Swamini Valli will be offering Monday through Friday, something very similar to what we did today, what she did in taking us through all the different deities and prayers and all that good stuff. So Swamini Valli, you want to elaborate a little bit more on it? I'll stop blah-blahing, let you do it.
So I was requested to do a more daily form of this puja. I'm going to start with doing it Monday through Friday, and I'll try it for a month, and we'll see, if people come and, what the reaction is. So it's going to start on Monday, July 4th, and it'll be at 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Right now with the daylight savings, that means it's 2 p.m. UTC and 7:30 p.m. for the people in India time, IST. So I'll be doing that Monday through Friday, starting next week, and we'll try that for a month and see how it goes. I'm going to try and see if I can create an arrangement where I can show the little blackboard with the flower petals being put on it, but I wasn't able to have that in place for today. So I appreciate you just listening to it. Now, I want to respond. I see in the YouTube chat, Evelyn saying that she felt lost, that this was like so difficult. Is there a set of ritual notes? Are these rituals always changing? Is the order set? So I think that's a very normal reaction to have, Evelyn, if you're seeing this for the first time, and if you're not familiar with the South Indian style chart. Next week, when I am doing it below in the show more area of the YouTube, there will be a link to where you can see the chart, and there will also be some notes about what star each planet is in those notes that you can look at. The link will take you over to an index for all of them for the week, Monday through Friday, and then you just click on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for the one that we're doing for that day, if you want to see it. You don't have to draw the chart. You're welcome to just listen to the prayers. But I know some of you have been learning more about Vedic astrology. Some of you may want to draw the chart and do the flower petals yourself. I apologize that I did some things out of order today, just from nervousness. So hopefully I got the nervousness out of my system and we'll be able to be more smooth with it going forward. And thank you to Ronnie very much for her support and help with getting this new series started. Robert is saying she used to call in, and when I did this puja Monday through Friday before, that was a few years back. I used to do a planetary puja like this and then a small fire lab. I'm not able to do a fire lab in my current location. So it's just going to be the planetary puja. But we have now 3 more planets added to it, so it will take a little bit longer to do. And I guess I'd like feedback from some of you about how much blah, blah about the planet or the star I need to add as we're going along to make it helpful for you. I don't want to drag it out, but at the same time, I know there will be people like Evelyn that may not be familiar necessarily with the qualities of all the stars or the archetypes from memory. And so looking for some feedback about that, about if that was helpful, etc., for you. And it is a more advanced form of puja. Dr. Pillai got inspired to create this puja for me and Raja to learn based off of what he saw the Ashtamangala astrologers from Kerala state do when they came over to the Ashtamangala building, which is where I was living at one point, when they came to do a very complex form of puja and a complex form of readings for people. So it's based off of that. I see Evelyn asking in the chat, how can we benefit if we do not know how to do? You can benefit simply from hearing the sounds for now, Evelyn. You can benefit simply from hearing the sounds. All of these sounds, all of the names of these mantras, all the names of the archetypes, the planets, the stars, the archetypes, all of their names are a mantra in and of itself. So the fact that we're invoking them with their name and paying our respects to them is something that will create a more positive relationship with you and them. And so that will be the benefit you'll have in the beginning, perhaps, Evelyn, is just starting to hear their names and to become familiar with their names. So whatever level you're at, if you're at very, very basic and you've never seen a South Indian style chart before in your life, that's fine. And if you're someone who's, very well trained in astrology, I know we may have some people in India who may even know more about all these things than I do. You're welcome to come and participate with your prayers. The fact that we're doing this together as a group is also creating an extra level of energy and unity to our prayers. So it creates Dr. Ply says over and over again, prayer is power. And that doesn't mean domination. Power to the network of enlightened beings means higher consciousness. So this is a puja that helps all of us to go into a higher consciousness when we do this on a regular basis. So go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just wanted to comment on Evelyn's, concern about this. And I have Evelyn, girl, same boat. Okay, same boat with you, because when we started talking about this a couple of days ago and starting to work out the details, and Swamini Valli was talking, and this planet and that planet and this star, totally lost. Okay, I was just totally lost, and I was saying, okay, But I tell you, today, just going around the chart, and I was so glad that we went back and said what each of those abbreviations were for. So I was able to follow it and point to the ones that were relevant at that moment. But what really helped was during each of those times when you explained what the planet was and what its attributes were. And let's pause for a moment and contemplate that. That I could do. I was still trying to figure out, now what is MA is Mars, and what VE Venus, there it is. I was still going through that. But I'll tell you, just being able to contemplate for a moment and just receive the blessings, that I could do. And Evelyn, that's what you can do too. And anybody that's confused about this. And, from how I felt the other day, which was total confusion, and my head was about to, just burst open, to today it was totally different. So you will adjust quickly, just be open to it. And, don't stress over it. Don't stress over it. That's the rule number one. Do not stress over this.
Never bring stress into any practice you're doing. That's for sure. Is the prayer different every day? Some of the prayer will be the same, Evelyn, the invocation to Ganesha, the chant from St. Yanasamundar, but the chart does start to change because the chart has movement of the planets. You're going to see that tomorrow, by Monday, this coming Monday, the moon may not be in Cancer anymore. He moves pretty fast. And you start to feel that. You have a visceral experience of how quickly the moon is moving through different stars because he moves very quickly. You'll see the sun changing signs once a month. There's 30 degrees in a sign and he moves about 1 degree a day. And so you're working from the chart of now based off of where I am and the time that I am doing it. And so, you know, in your local area, the chart of now might be a little bit different, but when you're doing a puja, you do it with the time elements that are active for the person who's leading the puja. Just like when Priest Premraj does a fire lab for us in some of the other programs. Okay, so there's going to be, let me see if I can send you this. Just give me one moment here to answer that question. Let me go see if I can copy this out for her. Okay. Just one second. I have created not notes for the chants, but I have created a note for the charts for next week. It's like a little index place where you can look at Monday through Friday, excuse me. If you go there, Evelyn, it's going to have a place where you can look at the chart, and it will also have the stars that each of the planets are in. That's the most note that I have prepared in advance for each of the pujas that we're going to do next week. And you can email me and let me know if that's helpful for you, etc. But that's where I started with for what I have prepared that you can look at in advance for next week. And again, the puja is not a class in astrology per se. It is a ritual practice. And I apologize that I left some things out today and had to go back and correct it. And I'm trusting that I'll get smoother with it. And as I keep doing this over the YouTube live in the future. But thank you for your patience with that today. Are there other questions, Ronnie, that I need to be answering for people?
I'm not seeing any other questions. Will there be a way where they can get the mantras?
I think I have a place. Yes, I think I had somewhere on that club.astroved.com years ago, a place with the mantras for the 9 planets, but I don't think I've added in the 3 outer planets just yet. Mm-hmm. So that might be something that I have to do before Monday, because there is on the club.astroved.com blog a place that says prayers and mantras, and I'll make sure to add the 3 outer planets into that area as well. Okay.
Great. Yeah. Yeah, Evelyn's saying I can follow what the teacher is doing. I'm thinking required to do it on my own, then I don't know how I can dwell into. Yeah.
You're definitely not expected. You're not expected to do it on your own right now, Evelyn. You're just if you want to come and follow along, that's fine. You're not expected. I'm not expecting anybody to do this on their own at the moment. This is as I said, it is actually a kind of advanced puja, but it's very beautiful. And my experience in doing it for several years is that it really does take you into a deep awareness of where the planets are at the moment. And you just start to see things like, oh, this little planet's sitting over here all by himself. There's nobody else with him, type of thing. You just have moments of your own inner realization, let's say, as you go through this and looking at where they are and how they're moving around, etc. So,
yeah, it's a good point that you don't have to do it on your own. And that's why Swamini Valli is offering this 5 days a week. So you don't have to do it yourself. Okay. You come and tune in, and she will guide you through everything, and you'll receive the blessings. So Robert says you did a fabulous job. Yes, you did. Yes,
thank you. Thank you for that. I hope to get smoother doing it over and over again, on the live. So like I said, we'll try it Monday through Friday for, let's say, a month, and then take the pulse of the audience and see if this is something they want to continue with. But I was asked to do this by Mohini, and I do have a blessing from Dr. Pillai to be doing this, for other people. So, okay, it sounds like some positive feedback here. So I'm very, very happy for that. And again, thank you so much, Ronnie, for your support in helping get this started. Okay, Evelyn is asking, what is the difference doing it on the chart? What if I just chant the planets and put on a plate? I don't know what you mean by plate. I don't know what you mean by plate, Evelyn. You mean like a yantra? Is that what you mean by a plate? I was asked by Dr. Pillai to draw it in my own hand in chalk on a chalkboard. So that's what I do. For other people, if you just want to print out the chart and offer flower petals to the printed out chart, you're welcome to do that. Or if you want to draw it on a whiteboard that you have or some other way on a piece of paper and pen. But any way that you want to do it, whatever you're asking, Evelyn, if you want to chant the planets and put the flowers on a little yantra, that would be fine. That would be fine. Rara is saying, I think add the music from the Planet of the Stars. I don't know what that is, the music from the Planet of the Stars. No, just on a saucer. That's fine. That's fine, Evelyn, if you want to do it that way. However you want to do it, this at home, it won't be wrong. If you want to put the flower petals on a little saucer and you're just offering them to the planets that way, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. You can adjust this to whatever works for you, or a bowl. However you want to do that is fine. No problem. No problem. The planets will understand. And just the fact that we're honoring them. And flowers, the petals are wonderful because flowers have such great purity. When we do mantras and we're touching a flower, it helps the energy go right into the Akash, or the causal plane. And it literally right then and there starts to update our Akashic record. So flowers, there's a lot of esoteric secrets about flowers, but there's a big reason why we do use them in a lot of the rituals is because when we're touching them and we're saying a mantra, that sound goes through the flower right into the Akashic record and is updating our Akashic record. So it really does help shift things for us, the purity of the flowers. So we are grateful to the flower petals for their help with that. Yeah. Anything else, Ronnie, that I need to say?
I think we've covered it for today. It was really, really nice. Swamini, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it myself. I just kind of got to sit back and just point my cursor everywhere. I can do that. But yeah, we're looking forward. We're looking forward to Monday for sure. So thanks again. Yeah, most definitely. So guys, if you liked this program today, please click the like button. That would be really great. And if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, please go ahead and do so that you'll be notified. Click the bell too, so you'll get the notification when these programs are happening, because as I said, we are adding more and more programming as we go along. So this will be a wonderful addition to our little Religion of Religions program schedule. So yeah, thank you so much again for everyone for joining us. Thank you, Swamini Valli, and thank you to Dr. Pillai, Mohini, and all the celestial beings that have joined us today. We'll see you next week. God bless you. We love you. And we'll see you soon. Namaste.
Prayer is power. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. 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 When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. Pray. Pray.